All right, so we're back talking about urban water supply, and in this segment we're going to talk about what do you do on extra alarms for water supply. So in our new policy, there is no direction given for units on the extra alarms other than they are to stage, and so any activities that they engage in are necessarily going to be command directed. In fact, our policy is very specific about saying don't lay in any more than 2 supply lines unless it is directed by command. So in this scenario, as you can see, companies are busy at work. The fire is considerably bigger than it has been. So this may be an instance where we need to think about creating additional water supplies. So best practices are always to be for command to get this out of his hair. So he should designate a water supply officer, and the water supply officer really needs to be thinking about coordinating his units on a separate channel, and then he's either going to need to fix a problem with the present water supply, so if there's a dead hydrant or an inadequate hydrant, or because the fire is so big, and we think about Upper Rock as the example, that just additional water supplies are needed. So if we have a case where additional water supplies are needed, we really need to think about getting off the grid. So what do we mean by that? So if you think about a neighborhood, the water mains run under the streets, they're arranged in a square. And in our residential neighborhoods, we may have 6-inch mains, we may have 8-inch mains. If we tap those out, if we lay from a nearby hydrant for that, it's still going to be running off the same grid system, and we run into the same problem that we had with the secondary water supply, where we may be robbing Peter to pay Paul. So that in that instance, we probably want to go to a main avenue or a bigger street that is out of that neighborhood, and we would most likely find a larger main and one that's not necessarily tied into that grid. So how do we know that? Well, there are WSSC map books that show the main sizes underneath our streets, and so that's a good ready reference. If you don't have that, there are apps on the smartphones that WSSC supplies that will tell you that. Or you can just simply use the rule of thumb that the larger the street, the larger the main is. So the best idea is really just get out of that neighborhood, go somewhere else, find a larger street, and get a better water supply. So what are our hose lay options? So we want to think about that. So nominally at 1,000 foot of lay, and this is important, 1,000 foot of lay, a 4-inch hose will supply 800 gallons or a little bit more. Remember, as the hose lay gets shorter, of course, you can get more water out of the hose, and as it gets longer, you can get less. But even at 2,000 feet, we've tested, we know we can get 500 gallons per minute through a piece of 4-inch. So if we need more than that, we can lay out 2 4-inch lines. All of our engines have the ability to do that, so that's an option. Or we do have engines that carry 5-inch hose in the county. 5-inch hose at 1,000 feet, of course, will carry 1,500 gallons per minute, even more when it's closer together. So our federal companies carry 5-inch hose. And then if this is going to be a long-term protracted event, we may wish to consider the use of the 5-inch hose. 5-inch hose is not common around the county, but for a protracted event, remember that we do have the hose trailer at NIH that carries 1 mile of 5-inch. That can be special alarmed, and the benefit of that is it can be laid out and picked up by, they have it on a reel, so it's pretty easy to work with. So again, for the extra alarms, important things we want to remember: this is command directed. There should be a water supply officer directing stuff on a separate channel. We want to either fix the problem or add additional water. We want to get off the grid, and we want to make sure that our hose supports whatever operation we're set up.